Good evening and welcome to Queer News Tonight, the world's first and only LGBTQ plus daily evening news. It's time to queer up the news. It's 8 p.m. Wednesday, March 23rd, 2022, and we are literally out of the closet and into the headlines. So many of your important stories we're going to tell this evening on Queer News Tonight.
This is the world's first live daily LGBTQ evening news show, literally out of the closet and into the headlines on Queer News Tonight with Al Ferguson.
Hello, and thank you for joining Queer News Tonight. This is the world's first and only unedited live LGBTQ plus evening news show. Whatever happens, you will see it. Queer News Tonight is supported by viewers like you. We are part of the partnership between Happening Out Television Network and Hotspots Magazine. Hotspots is celebrating 36 years of the LGBTQ plus experience, and we bring you the best of LGBTQ plus news, entertainment, and support of our community.
I'm your anchor at Queer News Tonight, Al Ferguson. Let's welcome anchor FayWhat. She is a radio, and we're sitting very close together today. She is a radio and television personality and has a popular blog and YouTube channel aiming to unite the L and the G together. She's a hostess and MC for many South Florida events, an animal advocate and owner of Fays for Family. Also, make sure to catch the FayWhat Show, the first LGBTQ plus morning show, Mondays at 9 a.m. Eastern, online or on your smart television. Good evening, Faye.
Good evening, everyone. And I love to be close to you, Al. I'm trying to get that white privilege to rub on me a little bit. Gotta get that on me. Gotta get that on. Gotta get that on. All right, let's welcome anchor John Hayden. John's been a journalist for 27 years and now works for several South Florida outlets, including South Florida Gay News, covering arts, politics, and philanthropic organizations. He spent the majority of his career covering the stupidity and scandals of Hollywood and has interviewed nearly every big name in TV, movies, and music. Tiffany Haddish once spent 4 minutes full-on flirting with him. Sadly, it just wasn't meant to be. Welcome, John.
Oh, you can come over and sit next to me and rub my white privilege sometime.
Oh.
Wow. Breathe, John. Breathe.
And Paul is so glad I'm introducing him now. And let's welcome anchor Paul Thomas. He is currently the chairman of the LGBTQ plus advisory committee to the city of Miami Beach, a board member of Miami Beach Pride, on the board of trustees for the Point Foundation, and the endorsement committee for SAVE. He has over 30 years of experience in the healthcare and education fields, specializing in AIDS, HIV treatments, as well as an activist advocate for marginalized communities. Locally, he works with many of our nonprofits and FQHCs, providing a wide range of services. Good evening, Paul.
Good evening, John, and I'm not even going there, Faye. Let's welcome anchor Scott Galvin. He is the executive director of Safe Schools South Florida, providing a safe space for LGBTQ plus youth. A member of the North Miami City Council, the longest serving LGBTQ plus legislator in the state of Florida. He sits on the board of directors for AIDS Healthcare Foundation and volunteers with Florida LGBTQ Democratic Caucus. Good evening, Scott.
Good evening. We're the reporters for Queer News Tonight, and this evening we begin with the queer headlines. The LGBTQ plus community in South Florida and across America is diverse. Our community across the world is vast. And here are the bullet points of the queer news for today, Wednesday, March the 23rd.
Well, let's begin by queering up the Supreme Court. Republican grills Judge Jackson on gay marriage equality in Supreme Court hearing. Watch this.
I'm just asking, isn't it apparent that when the Supreme Court decides that something that is not even in the Constitution is a fundamental right and no state can pass any law that conflicts with the Supreme Court's edict, particularly in an area where people have sincerely held religious beliefs, doesn't that necessarily create a conflict between what people may believe is a matter of their religious doctrine or faith and what the federal government says is the law of the land?
Well, Senator, that is the nature of a right. that when there is a right, it means that there are limitations on regulation, even if people are regulating pursuant to their sincerely held religious beliefs.
You agree with marriage is not mentioned in the Constitution, is it?
It is not mentioned directly, no.
And religious freedom and is mentioned in the First Amendment explicitly, correct?
It is.
Do you share my concern that when the court takes on the role of identifying an unenumerated right, in other words, it's not mentioned in the Constitution, and creates a new right, declaring that anything conflicting with that is unconstitutional, that it creates a circumstance where those who may hold traditional beliefs, like something as important as marriage, that they will be vilified as unwilling to assent to this new orthodoxy? Justice Alito in the Oberfeld case wrote, he said, "I assume those who cling to the old beliefs will be able to whisper their thoughts in the recesses of their homes. But if they repeat those views in public, they will risk being labeled as bigots and treated as such by government, employers, and schools." So the Oberfeld case, to nerd out with you again, was decided under a doctrine known as substantive due process, correct?
If memory serves, yes, substantive due process, and I think there might have been equal protection concerns mentioned as well.
Court, the Supreme Court has applied that somehow fairly mysteriously by saying it's created by the confluence of the Fifth Amendment and the 14th Amendment to the United States Constitution.
Well, Republican U.S. Senator John Cornyn of Texas, claimed that the 2015 Oberfeld versus Hodges decision created a new right that is not in the U.S. Constitution, marriage. And he questioned the court's authority to make the decision during the questioning of Supreme Court nominee Ketanji Brown Jackson. The Oberfeld ruling does not require any member of the clergy to perform a wedding that contradicts their religious belief. Yet Cornyn feels that it overrules people's ability to discriminate based on, quote, sincerely held religious beliefs, end quote. Cornyn compared Oberfeld to the Dred Scott ruling, where the Supreme Court ruled that the Constitution did not apply to African Americans or slaves, as they did not count as citizens. First off, was anyone shocked that he went into this line of questioning? He's definitely trying to explore what she's going to decide in religious versus civil rights. It's coming, for sure it's coming. But was anybody surprised that he so overtly went after this?
Yeah, I don't even think he was talking to her. I really feel like a lot of these people are talking to their base. They're worried about the people watching. They're worried about their own elections. He knows very well what a Supreme Court justice can decide and not decide. And he knows very well what these laws mean and what they don't mean. And we all know that the Constitution has been amended over time, right? And that it needs to grow with changing society. That, I don't think he was talking about that. I think he was just talking to his base and trying to get them inflamed, because when they stay all rabid and ferocious and angry, they show up and vote.
And to your point, this is not they're trying to get to points. They are creating their next campaign commercials.
Right.
Yeah.
They're not just talking to the base now. They're talking about them in November 2 years on from now.
Right.
Like Miss Graham getting up and storming out of the,
Oh my God.
the chamber because she just wasn't satisfied with the answer.
Right.
Please, this is all coming back at elections.
You know, when that happened, I thought to myself, did RuPaul say sashay away? Lady G stashed.
That
and
would have been
away.
perfect. That would have been perfect. But did you see her face? Like, she is expecting all this and a lot more, Like that face. That's that. It's the face that my brown mother would give me right before she took out a chancleta to hit me, okay? It's the same face that Kamala Harris had when she was running for president, all right? It's the same face that Mrs. Huxtable had in the Cosby Show, you know? Black and brown women, when we've heard enough and you've gotten on our nerves and we've heard all that white garbage for too long, we're like, and that was Judge Jackson's face. I love her even more.
That is so true.
So everyone, it's going to be a busy week for us here at Happening Out Television Network. Come on and follow us around the state as we'll be broadcasting the Gay Men's Chorus on Friday, March 25th at the Parker. We're also going to be in Tampa for the Tampa Pride Diversity Parade on March 26th. And finally, we'll be broadcasting from the Palm Beach Pride Parade on March 27th. We encourage you to attend and support all of these events with us this weekend.
Moving on, we queer up South Florida gay news. Don't Say Gay is going to become law, but resistance continues. Florida's legislature passed Don't Say Gay. Now one group isn't just saying gay, they're shouting it from the rooftops. More precisely, they're shouting it from billboards. In this week's SFGN, online and on stands tomorrow, I write about Act Blue, the official fundraising platform of the Democratic Party. They've secured $300,000 worth of inventory to get the message gay and say gay on billboards in Florida. This is in response to the passage of a bill banning any discussion of sexual orientation in any form in early school years and could easily be applied to upper grades. Governor DeSantis says he will sign this gay-bashing bill. The messaging has already been approved by billboard companies, and this is a stark contrast to a banner plane company that refused to fly messages calling for the measure to be defeated. They said they do a lot in business in South Florida skies and didn't want to alienate any potential future clients. You can read more about this act of defiance in this week's SFGN, online and on stands tomorrow. And Scott, the banner plane story, you and I covered it, you organized it, and it was your group that got grounded.
Yeah, and it was stunning that the company actually put in writing, put in a text that they weren't going to allow this to happen. They weren't going to allow the banner to fly using the word gay. We'd been talking to them over the weekend, setting it up. I mean, it wasn't like you just pick up the phone, you call a company, and they're flying your banner a minute later. You know, there's a process. They'd seen the message. And at the last minute, here they were saying they weren't going to fly it. So the fact that they put that in writing was a dumb move.
Was a moronic move.
Yeah.
Say it. You can't say it because, you know, you're in legislature and all that crap. I can say it. They're stupid.
Right.
Okay? Because I have seen this company. What are they called?
Fly signs.
Fly signs. Okay? We've seen them. They have flown some really idiotic things, but they wouldn't do Don't Say Gay. I mean, like, I think even a XXX star was somewhere one day, and they had flown something across the beach telling people to go enjoy.
Well, what made it even more stupid is that it allowed us to be able to make the point that they had said.
I read your press release, and I thought at the time when I read your press release, I got this big Cheshire cat grin because I thought to myself, my gosh, if they could have walked into any better of a trap for Save Our Schools, they walked right into it.
I mean, even to use the word alienate, right? We don't want to alienate future, but it's like, well, all of your customers have gay relatives, they have gay children, they have, you don't know how much you're actually alienating people by not standing up for what's right.
I'm curious in this story, do you think spending $300,000, Act Blue spending $300,000 this way, do you think it's a good decision in terms of how they're spending their money?
Well, I can tell you the money doesn't exist yet. They have secured the inventory, but they're now raising money online. So this is a fundraising ploy as much as it is a messaging thing. So actblue.com, you can go and you can donate money, and it's a 4-week buy. The messages will be up on the billboards for 4 weeks, however many they're going to get for $300,000. But they're using it to raise money. The messages aren't going to happen unless people go and donate.
And they will. And they will. I mean, are there any laws as to what can be put on a billboard? Can you put any? Because I'm sick and tired of seeing the Trump billboards that are always on 95 here because he's always doing something up in Mar-a-Lago or something like that. So they buy time on those boards.
It's.
Could we spend our money better? I understand Act Blue can do this. They can fundraise on this. I'm just asking broadly, on behalf of community, having a billboard that says gay or say gay, could we spend money better for other things for us that are political gains that would be better than?
From Safe Schools standpoint, that banner was incredibly important to getting across that we were, standing against Don't Say Gay. We were getting texts of the plane flying past schools. Marjorie Stoneman Douglas was, seeing the plane, taking pictures, tagging us on social media. So it is great exposure, and that type of exposure does have a value to it.
And one other related question to this: do you think you and congratulations again, Scott, Safe School South Florida did such a great job through the process of we knew we knew the L was coming. But we stood our ground, and now we go from there. So that's really what was accomplished, and you and so many others did a great job. But that was before the passage. Now the passage has taken place. Now my question becomes more refined: is it a good idea to spend $300,000 post passage? Today, is it a good idea, or we could spend our money better for?
You've got a good point there, because you can only flog the dead horse for so long. We've had board members that wanted to do more rallies and stuff like that since the final vote was taken, and we decided internally, what are we going to say that we haven't already said? And we've held off on doing that.
And it just seems to me, I ask the question because it seems to me the natural inclination now, as we are approaching April 1st, is we have 6 months to cut the cancer out of the patient. And cutting the patient is the state of Florida, and the cancer is Governor Ron DeSantis.
Yes.
So we've got to focus on removing the cancer, not continuing to beat the dead horse.
Quick question though, isn't this headed for the courts?
There will be legal challenges. I mean, Safe Schools has spoken to some legal entities about what we can do. That will take years to play out through the court system. And then if you were following what President Trump was doing, he was appointing federal judges all over the place. So apparently, at some point, it would be appealed to one of those judges. And then you look at the makeup of the Supreme Court now, and to the last story that we just went over, they're coming for gay marriage. And don't be surprised if gay marriage is not legal in 4 years.
The vast majority of the LGBTQ community say to me, I'm okay, I'm okay, I'm okay. Repeat what's coming?
Please.
They are coming for gay marriage. I have to explain to people all the time who I think are pretty astute that what one group of politicians does, another group of politicians can overturn.
Absolutely.
So I've said that and gotten some stunned looks because they don't realize that these elections do have results, and the federal courts are packed against us, including the Supreme Court.
You see, now I'm scared essless. Thank you very much, Mr. Galvin.
But you need to be.
No, but we need to be. And, I've told Al repeatedly, I have plenty of friends that as soon as marriage equality passed, they were done with it. I don't have to advocate anymore. We're good. We're at the table. BS, we're not.
Right. No, it's coming. It's coming within the next 4 years. Right.
So we continue. Next, we clear up the road to Stonewall. Seattle Pride drops Amazon sponsorship due to donations to anti-LGBTQ legislators. Yesterday, Seattle Pride issued a statement that they would not be allowing Amazon to sponsor their 2022 events. In a statement, they said, quote, because Pride and our LGBTQIA+ community are here year-round, we are evaluating all of our corporate partners, with an emphasis on presenting higher-level partners to ensure they are of the highest caliber and actively support and do not harm our community. Through this evaluation process, Seattle Pride has decided to not partner with Amazon for the 2022 Seattle Pride Parade because of their financial donations to politicians who actively propose and support anti-LGBTQIA+ legislation, oppose pro-LGBTQIA+ and other human rights legislation, and for allowing anti-LGBTQIA+ organizations to raise funds from their Amazon Smile program, end quote. With the spotlight turning to companies like Disney, Amazon, Walmart, CVS, and Publix in the wake of Don't Say Gay and other legislature, many are calling out the companies for playing both sides of the political spectrum.
Okay, I'm going to make double metaphors here because I want to get my point across. It's cutting your nose off to spite your face. It's biting the hand that feeds you. I believe this article said Amazon has given like less than $500,000 to people that support these measures across the country. They gave $5 million, the Bezoses did anyway. The Bezoses gave $5 million to the marriage equality movement in 2012 and was that night was one of the first ones to pass pro, not to say no gay marriage. It passed to say yes, there will be gay marriage in Washington. They gave money to that. The Washington Post, no one's going to say it's a conservative measure by any means. In fact, Donald Trump continually railed on it. Who owns that? Jeff Bezos. I understand that we don't want to support people that don't support us, but in the long run, they really do support us, and they have put their money where their mouth is.
I think Democrats, if we're going to break it down on party lines, Democrats have a purity problem. Everything is judged by, are they Lincoln, are they Kennedy? And if there's not a full agreement on whatever the issue might be, Democrats have a tendency to cut off their nose despite their face. And that's what I think is happening with a lot of things, despite there being history of pro-activism. Democrats are very quick to just, break ties, and it's going to cost them the presidency of the United States in a year.
I really do like that they're taking that stand, though, because we really have to be a lot more discriminating with who we align ourselves with. Everyone is not your friend. Yeah. And sometimes, even though they maybe gave a little bit less, in the sunlight, what they're doing in the dark is very dangerous to us.
Yeah, but you can't say
and
that without proof. You can't say that.
And that's what I was saying. Maybe they have some proof that we don't know, because it just seems very hard for Seattle Pride, a very prominent pride, to say no to Amazon money. That's a lot of dough, guys.
Right. And again, it's the purity test from my standpoint. Yeah. Everybody wants the Democrats to be exactly as they expect them to be, and then when they don't, especially in the more liberal side, they cut them off.
They cancel them off.
And that's why Biden can't get so much of his agenda accomplished. And I'm seeing it play out again.
Well, I do think the purity thing is an issue, but I think in this case, I think it's something that we all have to be very much aware of. You know, where you put your money is very important. And when you're putting your money in the pockets of the people who are then using your money to legislate against you, you want to think about that. Right. And I don't think enough people think about, wait a minute, I'm actually supporting the legislation that they're using against me. They're using my money against me.
Paul, I'm very addicted to Amazon, though.
I understand.
I'm very addicted to Amazon. I don't know how I can let that go, sir.
No, I understand. I'm just glad
that we're... I let go Chick-fil-A. It was okay. I got that.
Right.
Hate sandwich, not for FayWhat. But no, Amazon.
I'm just saying I'm glad we're having the conversation, because I don't think enough people even think about that, right? Mm-hmm. I don't think that they realize that just wandering into Publix and picking up a banana for 50 cents, if 3 million people do that, that turns into a lot of money. Yeah. And that goes into some politicians' pocket who's now writing don't say gay legislation against you.
Go ahead, Scott.
With your money.
You'll never find anybody who's 100% pure on all the issues. Barack Obama, I voted for him in 2008. He had said repeatedly marriage is between one man and one woman. If I had held him to the LGBT purity test, I would have been unable to vote for him. Yeah. Sometimes there's meeting of halfways when you recognize that somebody politically, has good and bad. I'm a politician. There are some people think I'm the devil, and then there's my mom, right? But there has to be a meeting of the middle ground.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm very worried about that. Meeting of the mind stuff that like allows. But the KKK is nice. But they're okay. They're okay. No, Scott. I don't go for that. People have to make a choice in the decision. I'm all for that.
You can't make a choice on every issue. You have to.
Important ones.
So what do we do? Do we return Mr. Bezos's money because he supported things?
So this is one half of the conversation. I think the other half, and we're going to do kind of a more extensive exploration of Disney. But it seems to me not only are we talking about the litmus purity test beforehand, but we're also talking about a litmus purity test after. The broad question on Amazon and their decision at Seattle Pride is, do we believe Amazon is a corporation that does not support the LGBTQ community? We do not probably believe, we certainly don't believe that Bezos is anti-LGBT. It's not Chick-fil-A and he's not Hobby Lobby. So the question is, what are they doing in terms of the contributions and how much they're doing on this litmus test? So loud and clear. But the other thing is, Disney has kind of reinvented our standard for LGBT, because they clearly made a mistake, and they are backpedaling and backpedaling and backpedaling. We also have to be able to, in litmus tests, to say, okay, in reasonableness, We've called out your mistake, have lost so many elections. We've got to figure it out.
Well, looking for a road trip? I know I want to go somewhere right now.
Speaking of transitions,
Join us, Happening Out Television Network, as we broadcast Tampa Pride Diversity Parade this Saturday, March 26th, in Tampa's Ybor City. The Pride Festival will last throughout the day, and the Pride Parade starts at 4 p.m. 4 p.m. sharp, because, gay events always start on time. It's going to be a great event, and we do hope to see you there.
Next, we report on our partnership with Sunshine Cathedral, the world's largest queer church here in Fort Lauderdale. We're broadcasting from our permanent set here at Sunshine in supporting that partnership. Happening Out Television Network broadcasts the largest LGBTQ+ religious live broadcast in the world, as more than 30,000 watch every Sunday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern. Watch this.
My name is Jasmine Price Lords, Florida Mother of the House of Lords, and Sunshine Cathedral is my queer church.
well, finally, tonight we finish queer news headlines with a segment we call LGBTQ plus Flash News.
LGBTQ plus Flash News. American support for LGBTQ plus rights drop again among white evangelicals. A new report from the Public Religion Research Institute shows that while support of the LGBTQ plus community in the U.S. has been rising, Republicans and white evangelical Protestants have consistently lagged in their support for key policies. Those findings are part of a 7-year study known as the American Values Atlas Program. Since 2014, PRRI, a Washington, D.C. based research firm focused on the intersection of religion, values, and public life, has been surveying Americans about LGBTQ plus issues such as marriage, housing, and job protections, and if they support small businesses' ability to deny service to members of the LGBTQ plus community. You know, this has been a long time coming, right? And, you know, we have to have these conversations. Even though they're uncomfortable, we have to.
You know, I think it's interesting. We are at all-time record acceptance in America for LGBTQI, except in one category, and the one that we report here. And it's not only not improving, it's getting worse. Mm-hmm. And that tells you there's a red light flashing as to why, and it helps focus on who enemy to LGBT Americans are and what are we going to do about it? How are we going to stand up against it?
Gas is up. I haven't been able to find cat food at Aldi for like 3 months. But yeah, this study is really important to find out that white evangelicals don't like me. Wow, big surprise.
And you know, it's all about where they are, just the same as Democrats tend to get gerrymandered into big cities and deeply blue districts. The evangelicals can go ahead and get this way, and politicians can support it because they're all gerrymandered into deep ruby red districts.
Especially when you have that Texas senator going, oh, you don't have to have.
And that's again what the LGBTQ community is missing out on. We are the Ukraine right now. Russia is coming for us, and they will be merciless. And you say, well, it's just a few Republican. They control massive states like Texas, Florida, Ohio. They are coming for our constitutional rights, like that senator from Texas said. Don't you feel that it's an overreach if you give a right to somebody where it's not explicitly stated in the Constitution? They are coming for us. I'm ringing that alarm bell.
Yes. And Scott, you're the next Flash we're going to talk about.
Flash him, Scott.
LGBTQ plus Flash News. Disney staffers protest outside California headquarters over Don't Say Gay. Watch this.
Well, this was something we've been wondering when this first was announced by a group of employees about a week ago, that they were asking people to take time off every day, culminating in this big full-day walkout today. Is just how big this was. It's not huge. There was about 100 people in the park that I saw, who many of them had walked earlier in front of the Burbank headquarters of Disney. They're a very passionate group, though. I listened to them speak. I spoke to them. They feel very strongly about this topic, and they're not going to let Bob Chapek, the CEO of Disney, off easy on this topic.
So what's your sense of how Bob Chapek is weathering this? I mean, obviously, seems like, he conceded to making a mistake, not taking the position initially, but now they have course corrected 180 degrees. Is it enough?
He corrected very quickly. Remember, it was just a couple days. He said he reversed his position. He was going to take a public stance. He's had to come out, apologize a couple times. Yesterday, big town hall with all employees. He said he's going to go on a global listening tour and talk to folks with other senior leaders. He put aside a management powwow that they were supposed to have next week in Orlando to do that. Took strong position against the Texas executive order that deals with a similar topic. So he's really trying to make amends for this with the community of Disney employees.
Queer News Tonight previously reported on the walkout planned by Disney employees outside of their Burbank headquarters. Yesterday, about 100 employees participated in the protest, which is intended to bring attention to CEO Bob Chapek's initial lack of action against Florida's Don't Say Gay. After shareholders, employees, and the public spoke out, Chapek paused all political donations in Florida and has taken steps to increase support of the LGBTQ+ community.
How much more could it take? I can't understand how you can be CEO of Disney, of all places, and have to be forced to do the right thing for your employees. It's mind-blowing to me. He's the wrong CEO.
And I won't be surprised, just on a sort of related note, if he doesn't step down soon, because not only did he totally mishandle this, they've implemented some new price structure changes and stuff like that at the parks.
Well, now you hit us in the wall.
Chapek's got to be skating on thin ice, and I don't mean the Disney ice skate.
I have two quick notes. First off, gosh, do we gay people, LGBTQ people, do we brand and market well? We take a parental rights bill in Florida and turn it into Don't Say Gay and create the cannon shot that's literally heard around the world. The Disney employees say, our protest walkout is called Disney Do Better. It's not you're bad, we're not anti-Disney, just do better. That's brilliant marketing. And the other thing is, I continue to make the comment, I don't think he's going to resign. And I think he's made a lot of really smart moves in the last week, in that he got knocked not quite down, but he wobbled in terms of what happened, and I don't think he was ready for the positioning. He was looking at it from a corporate standpoint of the standalone, set it aside, and this gigantic backlash against him. And it's an indication of move that there is gigantic support of our community. And now we've got to find ways to work with Disney to help us and help our community. And I think they're getting ready to do that. I think we're getting ready to watch amazing things from Disney, actually.
We must give people the chance to make up for their errors, okay? In AA, we call it amends, all right? We must allow Disney to make their amends for their mistakes. Plain and simple, period. That's it.
And echoing what Al and Faye said, I mean, it's an important issue and you don't want to let it go, but it's a whole new world. And at some point, you just have to say Hakuna Matata. We move on to my favorite story of LGBTQ plus flash news. Olympian Tom Daley reveals his most kinky knitting request that he has received. Watch this.
It's always an awkward one because, like, oh, can you make a willy warmer for my friend's, uncle? Or that's not happened. That would be really weird.
Oh, he's such a tight little biscuit. Tom Daley brought a lot of yum to the Summer Olympics, not only with his diving skills, but also with his adorable knitting. Recently, on Planet Weirdo podcast, he revealed some interesting facts about his hobby. Perhaps as a byproduct of being a gay man, he's gotten a few less wholesome requests. In the podcast, he said, quote, "It's so therapeutic. It's so therapeutic." And you can make some really crazy things, honestly. I was most requested things I've had for a friend's birthdays are cock socks. I've done so many willy warmers, it's unreal, end quote. Well, dude, I got news for you. I'm a walking wiener warmer.
Oh. And I have to tell you, that was the best Dame Edna impersonation.
Oh, by the way, that was a shady read. That was not a compliment.
Hey, he's bringing knitting back in style. The knitting for 2022.
Yeah. Paul Thomas, you were cute as a bug. We want to interview you on Queer News tonight.
Yeah.
Oh, he's adorable. All right, sir, I am ordering 10 vag toppers, okay? I want to give them away as presents this year. I will pay for them. Vag toppers. Yes, Scott. Think about it.
Ear muffins? What?
Vag toppers.
Ear muffins.
Oh, my goodness. Happening Out Television Network is excited to tell you that we will be filming and broadcasting the next Gay Men's Chorus of South Florida's concert, driven by Jazz on Friday, March 25th, 8 p.m. at the Parker. Tickets for this event are still available on the website, gmcsf.org. We hope to see you there.
Next, LGBTQ plus flash news. Kid Rock tells pal Tucker Carlson he's uncancelable. Wait.
Uncancelable.
There you go. Uncancelable. After using anti-LGBTQ plus F word. Watch this.
Why haven't you been canceled? Like, people aren't allowed to say what they think. You are.
I am uncancelable.
Why's that?
Because I don't give a and I'm not in bed with any big corporate things at the end of the day. There's nobody I'm beholden to, no record companies, no corporate interests, no nothing. And you can't cancel me. I love it when they try.
Last year, Kid Rock came under fire after a video went viral where he called his audience faggots for recording on their phones. Over the weekend, he laughed about attempts to cancel him over the slur. While Kid Rock claims to not be homophobic, he has repeatedly spoken out against gay marriage and used slurs against the community. Many have attempted to cancel him in the past over his use of the Confederate flag, even though he's from Detroit, his multiple assault charges, and his pandering to GOP candidates. For someone with no label and no corporate sponsors and a fan base who frequently can tell you the exact legal amount of Sudafed you can purchase from a pharmacy, his actions have few repercussions. Kid Rock, I put the picture away on you.
You know, it's a redneck paradise in rural Michigan, and that's who loves him, not Detroit. Redneck Michigan.
You know who else doesn't love him is money. He's got a bad career, he's tanked, and he's a moron.
Ooh. I mean, how do you cancel someone who hasn't been relevant for like 25 years? No. That's why he can't be canceled. Nobody thinks about it.
I am so sad. One of my favorite music videos of all time is "I'm Gonna Be a Cowboy." I love that song. I'm so sad.
Purity test.
Right.
So that is today's news for the LGBTQ plus community on the world's first and only daily LGBTQ plus evening news show. Is our community important to you?
Then help us by liking and subscribing, ring the bell for updates, and share the news with your friends and family.
Post this broadcast in the many groups you're a member of. Tonight's stories about our community deserve the attention of your family and friends.
Queer News Tonight is the only live LGBTQ plus digital television show in the world that is out of the closet and into the headlines. We need your support.
And if our community is to grow, we must tell our stories and bring them to the attention of the broader world. This is the only place in the world that tells these type of LGBTQ plus stories in motion and sound. And that is the passion of the Happening Out Television Network and Queer News Tonight. I'm your anchor, Al Ferguson. And on behalf of these LGBTQ plus reporters, the anchors of Queer News Tonight, including FayWhat, John Hayden, Paul Thomas, and Scott Galvin, we will see you daily at 8 p.m. But before we end our show, we would like to present one final story.
We'll finish up Queer News Tonight with Queering Up the Big Interview, a special interview with Gabe Salazar of the Gay Men's Chorus of South Florida. Recently, Queer News Tonight sat down with Gabe Salazar, the artistic director of the Gay Men's Chorus of South Florida, to discuss the historic partnership between the chorus and Happening Out Television Network. Watch this.
Hotspots Magazine and Happening Out Television Network announced an amazing new sponsorship of the Gay Men's Chorus of South Florida. So let's welcome Gabe Salazar. He is an enthusiastic and experienced conductor, and July 2021, the artistic director of Gay Men's Chorus of South Florida, bringing 15 years of professional experience with him. With more than 130 singing members, Gay Men's Chorus of South Florida is the southeastern United States' largest gay men's chorus. Of course it is. We're in the gayest place on planet Earth, and the 8th largest in the United States. GMCSF brings live music and entertainment to the community through large-scale main stage concerts in high-profile venues, community-based engagements, and volunteer projects. Each year, more than 20,000 people are inspired and moved by the music of this chorus. Community outreach and their mission in making a significant LGBTQ service organization and cultural asset in South Florida. In March 2019, Gabe made his Carnegie Hall conducting debut with his chamber singers. The group won a prestigious competition to headline a world-renowned Isaac Stern Auditorium concert. So welcome, Gabe.
Thank you so much for having me.
We are just meeting today. I'm very excited. We're big fans and supporters of the chorus. Tell us a little bit about you. Relatively new to the community. What is your background besides this new gig for the Gay Men's Chorus of South Florida?
I'm originally born and raised in Houston, Texas. So a Texas boy, and I grew up and went to college, got my undergraduate and master's degree and post-baccalaureate studies in music education. I've taught at the university level, high school, and most recently in junior high. And this position that I've taken over in July is my first of any gala chorus. So I'm really excited to be here and to use all of my knowledge and experience in this venue.
So you're from what I just heard, you're very excited that for the first time you get to be gay.
Yes, absolutely.
No, you always get before we talk about the chorus and things in the community, it gives me an opportunity with your experience. You've taught high school, yes. I understand, up in kind of red-blue, Osceola County. It's the southern county of Orange, yes. Just south of the Disney gates, but it has a lot of red. Lots in the news in this last week and last month about Don't Say Gay in the schools. From your experience as a teacher, what do you think about what you've been watching in Florida?
It's just been, just devastating to watch what's happening and what's been passed. It's just, I can't even imagine being in the classroom right now. I couldn't even talk about myself, yet alone talk to my students. And, teaching chorus, the majority of those kids are identify in that realm. And I wouldn't be able to talk to them. It's crazy. I even had a student last year who took his own life because he was struggling with his identity and he couldn't talk about it at home. So it just blows my mind that we are at a place right now in this state that we can't be ourselves and we can't encourage our students to be themselves and talk
Absolutely.
About that.
Very well said. Of course, you have to understand why we're in this moment, because after all, it is 1977. Wait. Right. Gabe, it gives me a great transition to talk about you and the chorus. We at Hotspots Magazine and Happening Out Television Network, we're big supporters of music programs, especially in the LGBTQ community, because we're not all about our bars. And we constantly say, well, yes, we love that, and we love gay days, and we love Atlantis cruises, but there's more to our community than that. And you scratch on that in terms of talking about your classroom experience. Help us understand why music is important, especially in the LGBTQ community.
I think it's so important. It's because it just delivers a message that is so universal that everybody can connect to. It's just a way that, I might not know, I just met you today, but we might talk about a song that we both love and relate to, and it's changed our lives, and we have that passion and drive to go out and spread the news of whatever we're passionate about, and that is music for me.
Absolutely. We love to embrace all of the diversity of our community, and not just the LGBTQ+, but the diversity of the kinds of things that we participate in, because we're all not about the same thing.
Absolutely.
And it's a stereotype in the straight community that all we do is we drink, or all we do is X, or all we do is Grindr. Do you do Grindr, by the way?
I do not.
It was a quick plug to find out. I think it's interesting in terms of the chorus that we live in one of the most dynamic LGBTQ communities in the country. And then in my meeting you in conversation, I understand that you are arguably, there's only 2 potential communities in America that would argue with us in South Florida that we're number 1. You're from Los Angeles. You lived a long time in LA.
I did.
Yeah.
About 8 years there.
8 years, all right.
Yeah.
And
that's where I actually came out.
Yeah. Oh, you came out in Los Angeles.
I came out late
Okay,
in
so
life.
they get an unfair advantage in answering this question. Now, in the time that you've been here, 2.5 years, which community do you love the most?
Honestly?
Yes.
This community.
Really?
I really do.
I was only playing with you.
LA will always be home because that's where I did come out, and there's so many special memories connected to LA, and I travel back often. But there's something here that's just, it seems a little just bit more authentic, maybe. I mean, by the people that I've met in the community that I.
Wait, did you just say we're not as bougie as?
Yeah, I
your
kind of
friends in
did.
Southern California, right? Gigantic chorus there. Have you ever seen any of the concerts
I've
there?
seen their Beyonce Babs and some. It was 3 Bs. I saw it in about 3 years ago.
Yeah,
and
that sounds gay as all get.
It was so
by the
gay.
way. It was
so
so
gay.
All right. But we love that, by the way. We absolutely love that. Lots of people do not realize this community has 3 choruses.
We do
in South Florida, which is awesome. No competition. Yes, there is, but no competition. But we love that we have 3 choruses, and Gay Men's Chorus of South Florida, gigantic national presence.
Absolutely.
You orchestrate even having music written for the chorus. Tell us a little bit about that, because people won't even understand.
Yeah, I mean, this is brand new to me, so it's very exciting to be able to have the organization, the power, such as Gay Men's Chorus of South Florida behind my dreams and visions, and we have the opportunity to have composers who may be LGBTQ or diverse as far as race goes to compose works specifically for us. And you know, if I have a dream and a vision, I just kind of tell that person, and they make that come to life. And we're really excited about the future.
Now, you came to South Florida at the perfect time. Oh, wait. COVID was going on. Maybe not the perfect time. I understand in your teaching, let me make sure I've got this right, that you were living here in South Florida and you were commuting to Osceola, to Orlando, to work as a teacher.
I was. So yeah, I moved here, I took a year off, and then I got that itch to work with students again, and I was applying all over. Broward and Palm Beach and Miami, and didn't have any luck, but a position opened up in Osceola. And I took it, and it was a great experience.
And Performing Arts School in Osceola, what grades were they?
I was teaching 6 through 12.
So 6 through 12, let's say 300 students, I don't know.
About that, yeah.
About 300 students.
Yeah.
300 6th graders to seniors in high school, or 125 gay men in South Florida. Which is easier?
Yeah, you know, it depends on the day.
Right, exactly. That's absolutely true. It depends on the outcomes on RuPaul's Drag Race.
Absolutely, yeah.
Tell us what that experience has been for you so far. So you have weekly rehearsals. You have rehearsals. We are helping the chorus in terms of, we've done many digital rehearsals. How do you do explanation? Happening on Television Network has helped in terms of broadcasting in a private link, so all of the members of the chorus can rehearse with you, and you can provide instruction, which is very interesting, because I had never heard of anything like that before.
Neither did I.
Right? Well, you improved in pandemic.
We did improvise.
And then, and you generally rehearse here at Sunshine Cathedral. This is, we're broadcasting from the Happening on Television studios here. Tell us a little bit about the process of working with so many gay men. Only men in the chorus?
We have some non-binary members. We had our first one, but yes, traditionally it's been only men. Okay. But it's been a very motivating experience, actually. They've taught me so much in the short amount of time that I've been here. Everybody has an amazing story to talk about, you know, whether that be where they fought social justice, or they just came out, or you know, whether it be, it's just been a great experience. It's taught me a lot so quickly, and it's been amazing to see their musical growth in the last 7 months.
Yeah. And I'm curious, being new to the chorus, and really even with the amount of time that you have been the director, which is a relatively short period of time, there's always this kind of clock that allows to tick before they really start to abuse. Has that passed? Are you?
No, I'm still there. I'm still on the good side. I think of most everybody,
Yeah.
but I'm waiting. I know it's coming.
Oh, it's coming.
I know it's
for
coming.
sure. You don't know this because we just met, but for one of the seasons, I was in the chorus.
No way.
And rehearsed here at Sunshine. I have great respect for the effort. Ultimately, I couldn't do it. I enjoyed the social and the musical nature of it, but my goodness, it's so much work. And for me, traveling, doing interviews and things, it just became impossible. But this is an opportunity for me to continue to be a member of the Gay Men's Chorus of South Florida. Yeah, I love that. In this new sponsorship that we're announcing, first of its kind that I've ever seen,
we're so excited.
In South Florida, where Florida's top LGBTQ media company partnering to help in all kinds of ways. The reason why Hotspots Magazine and Happy Now did this for the course is because of pandemic. Our 501c3s and our not-for-profits like GMCSF has really taken it right on the chin. How did the chorus get through the 2 years where you can't have concerts, you can't gather, you can't even rehearse together? How were they able to accomplish even the camaraderie of staying together?
You know, it was difficult, but the chorus pulled through, and I think we emerged out of it even stronger. At that point, at the beginning of the pandemic, I was a member. I was a singing member, so I was participating in the Zoom rehearsals and the Zoom concerts. And then as I started, we went back to in-person, kind of a hybrid model. But I think just with the help of all of our volunteers, and it's just been a great experience. And we don't ever want to go back to that, but we were thankful that we did come out of it on the other side, and even better. I think.
If just to provide an exclamation point on how amazing what Gabe just summarized that the chorus was able to do in its survival. In 2020, had the brunch, and it was right at the very initial hours of COVID. And there was an outbreak and some tragic things that happened. Of course, the Gay Men's Chorus of South Florida is most noted for their big event at Hard Rock Live.
Absolutely.
The Christmas concert, and that's canceled. And the next year is canceled. And this is a non-for-profit organization that is not out making millions of dollars. They are just providing community service, just like other service organizations. Even this year, December of 21, the concert had to be canceled at the last minute.
My first one,
it must have broken your heart.
Devastating. I was so sad.
Yeah.
But it was the right thing to do. We had to.
Yeah. Well, now we pull our boots up and we move on. Things are much, much better. You're here enjoying it. Now, in this sponsorship, and we're going to help in so many ways, one of the really exciting things is many of our viewers, and in fact, most of our viewers, watch us in broadcast television, Roku, Apple Television, etc. And so as a result, I think you're going to be able to bitch slap right in the mouth Los Angeles Gay Men's or Seattle or Boston and those dreaded DC singers.
We love them.
Yeah, right. See, I know chorus, right? I've been to 2 galas.
Oh, really?
Yeah, with a chorus on the west coast of Florida. So we are going to make it possible where 3 of the concerts in 2022 are going to be broadcast in Roku and Apple Television. What's
incredible.
that experience going to be like for you?
A lot of pressure.
Yes, you better be good,
lot
dude.
of pressure.
Gabe, you better be good.
Thanks a lot.
Right. And so people will have the opportunity in completely supporting Gay Men's Chorus of South Florida to either come in person or watch the concert through a digital ticket. That's really incredible. Have you heard of that before? Because I had not heard of it.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to be one of the first.
Absolutely. So one more time, South Florida is better than Los Angeles.
Absolutely.
Absolutely better.
No
right, exactly. You've got to say that. Right. I love LA. Actually, so do I. West Hollywood. Woo.
Right.
My friends at World of Wonder and RuPaul's Drag Race. Let's talk about the concert next Friday night. You're performing in the gymnasium at Fort Lauderdale Middle School, right? That's what I heard. Yeah, that's what it is.
The Parker.
Oh, you're going to play at the Parker Playhouse. That's pretty nice. Next Friday night, March 25th, 8:30 p.m. The show's called Driven by Jazz. We're showing that image. Tell us a little bit about what you're planning to do.
Yeah, so my vision was to kind of do something different than the course has ever done before. Patrons will walk in and they're going to walk into the theater, and it'll be what we call Club Allegro. We're going to set up the stage as a nightclub. There'll be tables and chandeliers and lights and people walking around with drinks. And so we'll have everybody kind of scattered around the stage, and we're going to have just a night of the American Songbook and some jazz standards. We'll have an MC for the night who kind of functions as the maitre d' of the club. So he'll kind of lead us through and interweave us through the night, and it'll be a really fun night.
Yeah,
a good experience.
It sounds fun. And 8:30 next Friday night at the Parker, March 25th at the Parker. We're going to continue to promote how you can purchase tickets. If there's many tickets left, I suspect there are not, but whatever remaining tickets are available, or you can watch it in digital television. Then after this concert, you're going to have your big gala, and your galas, do you know off the top of your head? I don't remember. It's April or?
The gala. Yes, that is going to be May 15th.
Yeah,
we moved it. Yes,
okay.
Yes,
Right.
we moved it. It was originally supposed to be this month,
right?
But because we just decided it would be better to kind of push it back. That way we could take advantage and really make it the best.
And where's the brunch going to be?
It's going to be at the Westin.
At the Westin, Fort Lauderdale Beach. Yeah, very nice, and nice location. All of us in Gay know, because we do lots of the gala events at the Westin, and we'll be getting information out where you can purchase tickets. That's your principal fundraising, non-musical, although you do some musical things, but it's your principal non-choral concert fundraiser of the year. Okay, and I just point out, if and I say this honestly for you and the chorus being a not-for-profit, if you should come. Yeah, I've seen multiples of concerts from Gay Men's Chorus of South Florida. It is really an emotional and beautiful event. But if there was a year that you should come and buy a ticket, no matter what you think of the music, it's this year. Because they're coming out of pandemic, and like all of our LGBT nonprofits, they really need your help this year. Then after the brunch, this little thing called Stonewall Pride happens here in South Florida, and you do more concerts. You do a special concert. Tell us about that.
Concert. It's that's going to be called Unbreakable, Unstoppable. The first half is going to be a work called Unbreakable by the composer Andrew Lippa. It's a story about gay rights kind of from the last 120 years and how people have forged their way through to today. And then, so that'll be a really powerful, kind of somber work. And then the second half will be kind of a celebration of coming out of that story. So a lot of pride anthems and a lot of just, great pieces that'll bring you joy and just make you feel happy to be gay. Yeah. If you are gay. But just happy to be alive.
Yeah. Because I'm not gay. I guess I'm not.
Me either.
Wait. Right. You either, Gabe.
Yeah.
I got that vibe from you, by the way.
The hair.
It's the hair. Yes. When I met you, I loved your hair instantaneously. And of course, I'm going to be broadcasting the Stonewall Pride Parade down Welton Drive, Pride Month. This year is going to be super special for the chorus to be able to come back to celebrating Pride after what we've done, because the pandemic has really, lots of our organizations, as I continue to say, pushed them right to their knees. And so now you give us the opportunity on those 2 dates. It's going to be here at the Sunshine Cathedral,
we'll be here
in the Performing Arts Center, which it's being revised to celebrate. And then, I know it's a long way away, but I got to give a tease about it. The Gay Men's Chorus of South Florida arguably puts on the best single Christmas concert in all of South Florida. Gay, non-gay.
I agree.
Full stop. And you do it in this little tiny theater. It's, again, I think Wilton Manors Elementary School.
The little cafeteria there,
the cafeteria. You do it at Hard Rock.
do, Hard
you
Rock
do it at
Live.
Hard Rock Live.
Yeah.
And now you haven't done that.
I haven't. I walked into that day, saw the stage, and it was so beautiful.
Did you cry? A little tear
I
came to your
did.
cheek. Yeah.
I did, but I knew
Now I know you're gay. Right?
A little bit.
And you don't know the theme yet for Christmas. You're still working.
Do not yet. We're still working on it.
Christmas TBA, whatever it's going to be. And you'll have a second concert here at Sunshine. So there'll be.
We always do one here.
Yeah, it's going to be a big Christmas week. Well, very exciting to meet you.
You as well. Thank you.
Gay Men's Chorus of South Florida. Check them out. And by the way, if somebody would like to sing with you, how do they go about doing that?
We have auditions very regularly, so just check our website. And I think the next audition is actually this Sunday. So,
excellent.
But
All right.
if they miss this one, they can always just register online, and we'll contact them right away.
And where will it be?
Here at Sunshine.
Oh, at
Cathedral.
Sunshine.
At Sunshine.
Gabe, I have to tell you, I'm having PTSD in meeting you and talking to you because it was this room that
Was it really where the
auditioned. And the legendary Harold, he was like, he was in your position for, I think, about 131 years. And
He looks good,
He
man.
looks good, honey, right? And I came in here and I had something and he said, no, sing this.
Did he really?
He barked it at me, and it was like, oh my gosh, I'm not used to, not being the alpha kind of personality. And Harold just, and that was my introduction to the Gay Men's Chorus of South Florida. Loved it.
It's great.
I'm sure Gabe's going to be doing the exact same thing very soon. I have this.
It's the little things that gives conductors joy. things like that.
Exactly right. So. Yes, exactly right. Well, you're going to see a tremendous amount about the chorus in 2022. We're jumping in feet first. Hotspots Magazine, happening on Television Network. Music in the LGBTQ community is so vitally important, and we're not just talking about Madonna.
Absolutely.
Right? So you have the opportunity, and we remind you one more time, next Friday night, March 25th, the big concert at Parker Playhouse. Peak of our winter season. You're going to love it, and you can see it in terms of Driven by Jazz, and the show can be watched in person in tickets, or you're going to be able to watch it digitally live. And so it's going to be great. And Gabe Salazar, welcome again to South Florida.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for the education. Teachers are so incredibly important. If we learned one thing out of Don't Say Gay, is there are two sects of people that, or segments of people that are harmed. It's not only our students, but it's also our teachers.
Yeah.
So we appreciate what you do. Support the Gay Men's Chorus of South Florida, and we're going to tell you much, much more about everything that's going on this year with them. Gabe, thank you for being with Queer News Tonight.
Thank you so much.
LGBTQ plus news is vital for our community and for the broader world as a whole. We have enough enemies at Fox News. Tucker, Sean, and Laura are loud. We need passionate allies. Happening Out Television Network, Queer News Tonight, and It's Happening Out are literally out of the closet and into the headlines. Our community needs your support. Like this broadcast and subscribe now to ensure the growth of the entire LGBT